Hi there, my name is Brittany Lord and I'm the facilitator for the Remembering Our Babies therapy group. I hope this video finds you well today. If you're watching this video, it's not by chance. You are now, or may have been for a while, part of a club that you never asked to be a part of, and only people who have experienced this truly understand what it's like. If you're watching these videos, most likely you know you have lost a child or the hope of having a child, or you have a loved one who's experienced the same thing. But this group and these videos and all the other things that this group does is tailored to help those who have lost children due to infant death, miscarriage, or who struggle with the pain of infertility. Let me be, if no one else has told you, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm not glad for what's happened to you, but I'm certainly glad you're here. So keep in mind that these videos are not intended to diagnose or treat mental health issues. If you're watching this video and you have a mental or physical health emergency, please turn the video off and go to your nearest emergency medical facility. This is our third year that this group is rolling out 3 ways that we are coming alongside people in our community and beyond, with the help of the wonderful YouTube video platform, to be able to come alongside and help with the grief journey that you're on. And I say journey because everyone who has experienced these losses is on that journey somewhere. It may be 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, or 10 years ago. But no matter where you are on that grief journey, the activities and the experiential things that we're doing on these videos are meant to help and to come alongside. Now, these videos are just one way that we're coming alongside people in our community and beyond. There's 2 other ways. Coming up this November, there is a walk and candlelight vigil, and there's so much more than that. More details on that to come, but it is an amazing time. Family, friends are welcome. There's food trucks, raffles, games for kids, and at the end of the evening, there is a candlelight ceremony and a walk to remember our babies and take those steps that they never got to take. I promise you that this is a great event and you will love it. If you'd like more information about that, please message us, and more information will be coming closer to November. Another way that this group is coming alongside people in our community and beyond is through individual counseling sessions. So as I mentioned before, I'm the facilitator for this group. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm excited to let you know that because of the proceeds and the money that's raised through this group, we're able to offer some free to you, paid for counseling sessions. So please check this out. This is an opportunity that you don't want to miss. And we can work through, get started on what this group means, and start working through some of that grief, and help you find the resources if you need other resources besides some individual counseling. So I'm a great first stop. So please let us know, message us on Facebook, or comment on this video. As always, if you have a comment, a question, a concern, or want more information, please also drop us a comment in the comment section here on these videos. So today we wanted to talk about the grieving child. So if you have lost a child to infant death, miscarriage, or are now struggling with infertility, you may already have some children at home. And there's lots of differing opinions about how you talk to children about death. There was a popular book that was, and I don't have the name of it, and if someone used this and that was what was helpful for their children, okay. But this book used a lot of metaphors to speak to children about death. And I've seen this in my own practice and in my own children's lives. It's very helpful, in my opinion, in my professional opinion, and as a mom, to speak more frankly with children and to not use metaphors. But there's some great other tips to help talk with children about grief. There's tons of wonderful books that are out there. One of the books that I'm going to highlight today has some points on there, and we're going to highlight some of those. Again, this is a topic, everybody has their own parenting style. Everyone does, parenting a little different. I've had clients that'll ask me, hey, what's a good parenting book? Well, that's hard because what makes good parenting to me is different than what maybe makes it to another person, right? So there are some key things that can be helpful as tips for us as parents, and I give those to my clients. But there's some helpful tips too, maybe just to kind of get you started on thinking of how you want to present or talk to your child about their grief experience. So before you ever do that, I've got a book that I'm going to highlight some of the ways to prepare yourself. So do some of the pre-homework before you start talking to children about grief. If you Google it, I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the internet, right? You'll find these great charts that show, okay, this is when children understand this is when they don't. This is, if a child is 8 years old when they lose their sibling or their cousin or their fill in the blank family member or friend, these are the things that they understand. And then they may understand something a little more at 10, 12. You understand where I'm going with this. So this can come in layers as you teach children. So I would encourage you to do your own research and see what works best for you, your family, and your parenting style. So again, I wanted to highlight some of the maybe some pre-homework activities that you can be asking yourself before you even talk to your children. Again, there's tons of great books. This happens to be the one that I have on my shelf because it was recommended to me years ago. The Grieving Child by Helen Fitzgerald. It's a great book. Highly recommend it, as are other hundreds of thousands of books. So things any parent can do now. So you're preparing yourself to be able to have that conversation with your child, maybe about the sibling that they lost or the loved one or friend that they lost. So there's a few things that you can do as a parent. The first one that they recommend in this book is to take stock of your own death history and your own feelings about death. Start by asking yourself some questions such as, what was your first experience with death? How did you learn about death? Were you protected from the reality of what happened? Were you prepared for what you saw at the funeral home? There's an old saying that children are resilient, and they are. People are resilient when they are given the tools to help them through a difficult situation. So when we talk to our kids about the grieving process, it can be really helpful to just open that up and to let them know, hey, this is a safe place for us to talk about this. And I want to be able to hear what you have to say, and you can tell me if something makes you uncomfortable. Please let me know. If you want more information about this, I'm a safe place to do that. And that's a huge hurdle and a huge step to be able to help your child through the grieving process. So again, number one, take stock of your own death history and your own feelings about death that you've had over the years. Number two, using the correct language. Again, as I mentioned before, there's some popular books that speak in metaphors about death to children. Again, everybody uses their own methods. I can't say mine's right, but the literature does suggest, and my own experience, that not only as a mom but also as a therapist, that using the correct language with the child, and I don't mean maybe even saying passing away, that they died, being very specific with children and helping them to understand. If you maybe mentioned that the child was sick, that you lost, if your baby was sick, well, your child that's still here and that you're talking to, well, the next time that they get sick, they may have the question, well, am I going to die? Right? Maybe they don't, but that is certainly a possibility. Most child therapists will tell people that to use the correct language for anything, body parts. That's also to be able to help the child understand if there's something that is a situation that they're uncomfortable, if the person calls it something different, or that they know the correct terminology and know all the facts around it, they will know and understand if something is happening to them, like abuse. So there's a lot of good research that shows that using the correct and proper terminology is very important. So is the same with the grieving the loss of a brother, sister, or a loved one. Have a book about death. Number three, have a book about death in your child's library. This is so important because children will, and those of you who have kids or been around kids will know, They don't make appointments to come up and talk to us. You will be putting them to bed one night, or it will be midnight when they walk into your room and they're ready to talk to you about this. So maybe having a book about death and just explaining that is another way, rather than just mom and dad or their guardian talking to them about death. Having a book that shows some pictures to be able to have more of a visual learning as well, to be able to help that child understand and look over it, make sure that it's something that you agree with. Maybe it has some things about where do we go after we die. You need to make sure that maybe that your family and your culture and your belief system matches that. Um, Look for death education opportunities. If the best times for learning and for helping children are on any given day, when something comes up, maybe on television, maybe something comes up, there was an animal that passed away, maybe it was on the road, use those as learning times, because that child is, maybe if they're, especially if they're asking questions at that time, their little mind is open and they're ready to absorb. So I would encourage you to look for those times. Again, these are just a few tips for you. This is a great book, The Grieving Child by Helen Fitzgerald. Other really good books. If you found a good book, please let us know. We'd love to hear about it. If you have questions about this book, or a comment about any of the other content that we've produced, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We are here for you. Please use us as a resource. Don't walk this journey alone. Please allow us to come alongside you and be with you on this. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.